Hello, my name is Matt, also known as Alpine1, and today we are going to be creating a stackable row home template with full interior and floor plans. This video contains my full design process from start to finish, so you'll get a complete understanding of the architecture, engineering, and a touch of planning. The intention is to help you apply the theory to your own builds, whether it's the exterior architecture, interior floor plans, color and material choices, or the underlying engineering choices like water drainage, which doesn't have any impact on Minecraft whatsoever, but it's still fun to include anyway. We are in the City of Sequoia, by the way, which is available for download on my website, alpine1.co. If you'd like to download a schematic of this build, it's available as a part of my City Design 101 course. This course is still in development, however, you can buy it now for a cheaper price compared to the full release in the future. It's a great way to support my work, and it'll help you become the best Minecraft city planner that you can be. Now, before we get started, if you don't mind clicking like, it just helps with the YouTube algorithm and helps me to reach more people who may also enjoy this content. But with that being said, let's design a stackable 3-floor row home template based in Vancouver, British Columbia. Okay, I've got a little bit of a building palette. I've changed that wool to quartz bricks. But this is my magical measuring stick. This tells me where the floors are, where the in-between space is inside of the building itself, and then where the floor and ceiling above is. You can see that I do that with this one. It lines up. And this one's obviously a work in progress. I'm going to start by extending this out front. And for each one of these, and they are going to be stacked side by side, so you're not going to have any windows on this side, only on the front, back, and top. But for each one of these, I am going to create a tiny little front yard and a little stair that goes up like this. And here's the path, and the door will be right here. So I basically want to use these quartz bricks and create an outline. And then on the inside, we're going to use these colors. Bring that up there. And then bring this across. So what I'm doing right now, this is called massing. This is just laying out the shape of the building. So I'm going to split this right here. This is going to be a nice big window, likely for a living room. And I feel like having a too wide entrance. The door is not going to be too wide. But if I just place that there for now, I can, whoop, that's not what I want. I can essentially just frame it out. And with all of my doors, I like to have a door, and then I like to add a trapdoor on top. Just like that. And then, nope, hold on. Try this again. There you go. So it looks a little bit taller. I don't know, just a personal opinion. And I will take some glass panes, and I would like to make a nice big window just like that. Now, for the most part, I actually build 4 tall for each of the floors, but I think maybe for this one, I could shift the entire thing down. I don't know how well this is going to work, because normally I like to have 2 blocks between floors, but hold on, we'll get to that. I think since this is such a light color scheme, I'm going to go with some birch flooring. I'd like to bring this out a little bit. I'm not completely sold on the color scheme yet. But it's trial and error. Now I'm just going to take this for now and fill this in. Nope, never mind. I think I am going to go back to the original plan, because otherwise I'm going to have windows that kind of look weird, and it's going to look like a 1:1 scale. Well, in reality, I'm building at a 1.5:1 scale. So I will make an identical window right there. And then the reference that I'm looking at, it has something like that, which, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. And I'm probably going to double this up, or just to make it interesting, I might use a quartz pillar instead, bring that across. Maybe? I don't know. But either way, I'm going to use the power of Axiom and enable that there. Nope. I want to bring that out. And there you go. I don't know. Makes it a little more interesting. Why? I can't click the right thing. There you go. Kind of sticks out a little bit. Yeah, it's all right. Now up top, I have this black carpet. Whether or not it will stay as black carpet, that is to be determined. But gives it a nice little outline, which will be pretty cool. It's kind of subtle. Way up there, you see that very thin line. But we'll see if I change the material or not. Oh, I just realized this is the wrong way. fix that. I'm debating whether or not I should bring this one out by one to create some additional depth. I'll think about that later. But for now, I'm going to line myself up with this. And I'm going to bring some of these floors all the way back and just fill out the footprint. There you go. Okay, looks good. Now I just noticed up top here, I think I actually have to expand this one. Or actually, no, wait. I get it. I'm going to take some dead bubble coral blocks. And I'm going to make a little outdoor patio. I can get rid of that. Here you go. Feel like having this patio as 4 wide gives you enough space to have a little table in the corner, maybe a little barbecue or something. And I'm actually going to take that out and that out. Actually, let's go one more. And I would like to take some smooth quartz stairs. And if we do this and bring this all the way around, let's try this again with the right axiom settings. We can bring this all the way around. And there you go. Nice little spot here. And then this works for drainage. So now what I can do is bring that up just like that. We will make sure that we are aligned with that one there. Pull that across. And I'm going to assume that this part is structural. So I'm going to bring this all the way down. And there you go. All right, making progress. Now, since the back does not have a rooftop patio, I can basically just bring this up, connect it, and then turn it into a box. So now we have the general shape, and at each of the floor increments, I can just bring this across, because this will be filled in just a minute. For now, I'm going to do this. Pull that right there, and then I think I'm probably going to have like a sliding door up here. I'm not sure what I can put up here. Maybe a living room. Maybe I should have done this before I started. I think what I'll do instead is I will take this, put that right there, and then I'll have, I think, a glass sliding door maybe. But I don't want it to be incredibly tall, so actually I'm going to use this material once again. And the more materials I put, the more I really want to pull this out by one to create some depth. I'm still thinking about that, but I'm going to go down here and then basically just add a sliding door. There we go. This is the design that I love to use all of the time. Essentially what I do is I bring the glass panes here and out here. Obviously you can't get this without Axiom or the debug stick, but I'm basically right-clicking on this side. See how I'm doing that? If I hold left Alt and Axiom, I turn on the tinker setting, which is pretty cool. So now this is the full glass pane, and it swings back this way, and it did the exact same thing with that one. So it is now the proper dimensions. So there you go. Okay, I was scrolling through the inventory, and I noticed there is a prismarine wall, and that is the only wall that is anywhere close to a bluish color. So I kind of want to test it out to see how it looks, just to create a little bit of depth and separation from this section right here. So let me give that a try. And let's use a little bit of Axiom magic. How do I, hold on, here you go. Okay, so now it has created some depth, and there's also some separation between the glass pane and the wall itself. I actually don't mind that. That's interesting. Now I guess the question is, do I want to have it just up here or the entire area? Okay, so that's what it looks like. I don't know, I think that's kind of interesting. If I feel that it's too bland and too dull, I could always take Axiom and do something like that. And then, oh, that's kind of cool how it connects with that. That could be an option. That was not what I wanted to click. Nope. There you go. Okay, that's not too bad. Is it just me, or did it just get more blue? I think I'm losing it. Never mind. Okay, I think I'm going to keep that. That does actually look cool. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and line that up. So we get this line that continues all the way up there. Now, I do want something on top of here too, but I would also like what is called a parapet. That's just the little lip on top of the roof. Typically you see them on flat roofs. It helps control where the water goes so that when it rains a whole bunch, it's not going to fall off the side and hit a small child. And this is my roof material of choice, tough brick slab. So let's see, do I want to put it there maybe? Okay, yeah, let's do that for now. And then if I want to, I can revisit it later. Next, let's take some lime green wool, and I'm just going to set that there. So create sort of this enclosed patio, and I'll figure out what I actually want this material to be later. Okay, and in my reference, there are a couple little details on the roof. So if we come over to this building, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that. So a black candle, and then a black stone button. And let's see here. Maybe a little something like that, and just throw that one right there. Little details, pretty subtle, but I think it works. Okay, so let's get some work done on the back here. In my reference, it does seem like there's some interesting patterns going on here. Now, I think what I'm going to do, since I am using this wall here, and yeah, it's going to be a problem because you can look right there. It's annoying. I can probably split that up. But basically, since I'm using this prismarine wall, I can also use a diorite wall, and then basically fill in the rest here, even though it's going to do that. I don't know. Here, give me a minute. There you go. Now I can have it flush just like that. And I'm actually going to shift this back by 1, create a bit of depth. And then we will bring this corner up. And I will fix that wall here in just a second. And let's take that out there. Put that just like that. Fix that up, and there you go. Just kidding, I'm going to move it 1 block down because I know the view is going to get blocked by that one there, and also this terrain is not exactly at the height it's going to be. It is quite far above the ground, as you can see down there. So that view is not going to be as nice, but you get the picture. You still want to be able to see out. Nope, we're going 2. I'm making it a big window, and maybe we'll do something a little like that. Now this is going to be a nice balcony or deck up here. And I feel like this might be a good place for a kitchen or a dining room, even living room, probably. But again, just using either a debug stick or Axiom, just opening it up like this so that you have a 1 block gap in between here, even though it is between blocks. On the reference I'm looking at, there does seem to be a little vent right here, so maybe I'll do that. And then, I don't know, maybe I can add a button or something. Also, it seems I may have accidentally destroyed my buttons up here, so I'm going to put those back there. And maybe a little something like that. There you go. Little detail. Now I would like to pull this out and make a little deck just like that. And then we'll take this, go all the way around, and drives me nuts. Okay, I've adjusted some settings, even though I try to click my left alt and I keep hitting my Windows key, so that's fun. But there you go. That's not bad. I feel like there's probably a way to improve this. Maybe, probably, I don't know. I'd also like to add a pale oak button. And just a little something like there. Something like there. I can't speak English. I had a coffee a couple minutes ago. It has not kicked in yet. Maybe I should make a second cup. I feel like something interesting up here is if I take this one, and now this might be a little too much, but if I take that, I could, no, all right. Okay, let's try this again. 1, 2, here you go. Little visual interest, that's not too bad. Yeah, all right. I think we're making progress. Now, here's a little tip for when you're building in Minecraft. If you're looking at a reference of something in real life and you're recreating that, you have a choice. You have 1 of 2 choices when it comes to the windows. You can either make the windows the same size, although in reality, it is going to be different. And the choice is you can either make your windows bigger than they are in real life or smaller. And most of the time, I would recommend making them slightly larger because you really want that experience of being in your Minecraft build. And if all your windows are tiny, well, that kind of sucks. So just my opinion, I always make my windows a little bit bigger than they are in real life. Okay, so let's make the backyard here because it seems that in my reference, this is a walkway between all of these. And of course, these are going to stack all the way down here, all the way, well, I don't know where they're going to stack to, but we're basically making a template. So the backyard is still going to be quite small, maybe to about here or here. You're going to have a little walkway here. And then this is going to be something for this one. I haven't looked too hard at this one yet, but work in progress. So basically we're just going to start back here and make a tiny little yard just like this one. Start by extending this out like that. I feel like that is a somewhat reasonable size. And I would also like to add a little stair here. I don't know if I want both, so maybe I'll just keep it like that for now. I'm going to take this and go like that. And then I'm going to stack this down like that. Take that one out. And there's a very particular reason why I chose to put it on this side instead of right here. So if you put it on that side, now if you want to make furniture, you can do a little something like that, and you can build up against here, versus if you had it right here, all of a sudden you can't place anything. And if you don't put it all the way down here, oh, that's not what I want, but if you put that all the way down there, then all of a sudden you can't put greenery right here. So I'm probably going to do that, especially because we have an elevation change down here. And I like to create some separation between the somewhat public walkway and your backyard. Okay, so something that I just thought about, and something that is an error in this particular case, especially when we want to stack it, is if these walls, this one here and this one here, are actually going to be the same one when I stack it. So when I stack it one like this, that is going to be this, which is fine on the front. That works, I think. Actually, I think there's going to be a little bit of overlap. It's going to look like that, I think, maybe. But the big problem is on the back here. Since this is in and then it comes out, this one here is going to want to stick out right there. So I'm not sure how to approach that. Like, let me show you here. I'll just stack this. So if I go like that, nope, that's not what I want. Maybe if I get the actual selection correct, select that one, and then we will expand it out there. If I just stack it a couple times, you can see that it's okay on the front, but on the back, yeah, now you have this bit of a gap. Should I just bring that in? Probably. Because I do like how it creates that variation. That is quite nice. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll... Hold on. Let's start by taking that out. And then I will pull these out just like that. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an extra block here so that I can connect it into this one. And last one. Okay, there you go. So now it creates a little wall up here. Bring it down like that. And make sure there's no gaps. That looks good. Okay, so... Oh, I should... hold on. Since this is going to have to connect it here, I am going to pull that there. There you go. That's a pretty easy solution. Except for the one on the end, which I guess is this one. I don't actually have to make this wall out of quartz bricks. And to be honest, if I'm inside, I don't really want to have that as a wall material, except on the exterior walls. So maybe I'll decide to change that up later. Okay, so let's test this out, see how it looks. Is that gonna... I did not do that right at all, because that was supposed to come in there. Hold on 1 minute. Okay, maybe I'm gonna make this one on the end and all of the other ones slightly different on the corner here. I think that's probably a better solution, because otherwise it's going to look weird and it's going to be kind of indented. All right, so since this is a stackable design, and anything from this block and over, not including this row right here, that's going to be stacked. So on the end here, I can basically just make this an exterior wall. This one will be an interior wall, and then I can stack it so that basically, actually, you know what, I'm just going to do it and then show you. Okay, so change all of this to bone block. And then if we take this and we just stack it a couple times, paste that. So obviously haven't fixed that yet, but you can see that the inside material is now a bone block, which I think works quite well. Here's a little preview of what the front is going to look like, by the way. But let me Control Z and keep working at it. Honestly, just to change it up, I am going to add the bone block, but facing that direction so that you get a horizontal sort of baseboard, and then the vertical elements for this top section. I don't know. I think it looks good. I also love the sounds of this. That's so entertaining. All right, let's make a pattern on this side. This will be an exterior wall. I kind of want to avoid using walls like this all the way around because you can see through that. I haven't quite figured out how to fix that yet. I could basically do that, but then, I don't know. I feel like that makes it more noticeable. You know, you can only really notice it if you're up here, but, you know, if you're back here, I think it looks all right. Also, look at that view. Hello, boat. How you doing? So what I could do is I could use that for a little bit of variation, or I could get a full block of prismarine. But let me try it with this first. Basically gonna do a little pattern like this, and then bring it back down like that. I also changed this to smooth stone. That is the ID 43:8 for all of you old World Edit nerds out there like me. And this is just for your waterproofing because you don't really want to have bricks that go all the way down to the ground because bricks are, believe it or not, porous. And in English, that just means water can get through it. It won't necessarily be a giant stream of water, but yeah, water can get through it. Water can technically get through anything. But that's a science lesson for another time. Is it like osmosis or something? Nah, it's a different term. I don't know what it is. What do I look like, an architect or something? I'm going to take that. Nope, that is not what I want. 1, 2, 3. Check. Go like that. 1, 2. Thank you, axiom. All right. I think that works quite well if you want to use the walls. And if we go inside, thanks to my beautiful door that is open, since along the floor level we have full blocks along there, I think it works. Except for right here. That's kind of annoying, but shh. Nobody's ever going to see this. And on this side, which of course will not work for the stacked templates, but since this is on the end, I can and will use it to my advantage. And I will add some windows up top, just like that, for some extra light. Actually, I am going to bring this down by 1. Let's do that. Go over there. There you go. Not too bad. For the second floor, I think I'm just going to fill this in. If I could click the correct hitbox. There you go. Now, I don't want to overdo it. I think this looks pretty decent, but of course you could take something like this and place it somewhere. I don't know. How about right here? There you go. That looks good. Now, since this is going to be stacked, I kind of want to do something like that. There you go. I think that's kind of interesting. Little drainage like that. I don't know exactly where it's going to go, but don't worry about it. It's fine. I can also get rid of this. Now that I have all of my floors in place. Maybe I'll add something like that. And I think I'll leave that for now. Maybe I'll add one other window over here, but I'm not entirely sure on the floor plan yet, which we will be doing here in a few minutes. Okay, I found another thing I would like to adjust. Let me do that. And if I use the power of axiom, I can right-click that and turn that into slabs, even though it would definitely be way easier if I just placed them as slabs. But just bear with me 1 second. Here you go. Create a little bit of separation like that. And then if I know that looks weird. That's fine. But if I go like that, there you go. It's very, very subtle. But yeah, I think it works. And if we come up top here, do I? Nope. Let's leave that. Nope. You know what? Yeah, we are going to do it. That's not what I want to do at all. What I'm trying to do is add some drainage, except I apparently can't click the correct block. So I'm going to do that. And basically it's going to drain down here, and then maybe I'll have like a downspout or something here. Or, oh, maybe this is it. This little thing sticking out here. Maybe that's what that is. Now I am going to steal a design from Mata. I don't know where Mata went. Mata's around here somewhere. Mata, is he still on? He is still on. Mata, I'm stealing your designs. I'm going to take a pale oak fence and a lever. I'm going to fly all the way back here. Make sure that both of those are on. Line that up just like that. And let's go. No. Let's try this instead. We'll build it out. Put that there. Bring this one down like that. Oh, wait. I am going to try a chain instead. because it's a lot more thin and I feel like it connects a little bit better. Bring that all the way down. And then there you go. Water pours out of here. And now I can just move it into place. 1, 2. There you go. And now I can take this and set that to 0. There you go. Not too bad. Actually, I may flip this. Please don't break. There you go. Okay. So, okay, use your imagination, but I feel like it looks weird if it's not connected at the bottom. So, yeah, that's all right. You know what? Hold on. Pause. Let me see what it looks like with the pale oak fence instead. Because, yeah, let me try it. How does that look? I think that looks a little bit better. Yeah, let's go with that. Matta, you are right. I am going to go with that. And we'll go down here. Make a little something here. Nice window. And down here, I think I'm just going to clone this door up here because I love that design so much. And over top, maybe we'll do, I don't know, something like that, just so you get this consistency across there. Now, I don't actually want the bricks down here or down here, so I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the front. Take the polished diorite, and then just replace it just like that. There you go. Okay, so I think that looks pretty decent. Obviously, I still have to change this up on the front, but what I think I'm going to do now is I'm going to stack it by 1 just so I can get those connections to actually be where I want them to be. So right about there, is that the correct one? I think that looks good. Just make sure I have it on the front as well. Yep, that looks good. And in real life, this one does not go like that. And I'll just do that. Maybe since I don't really want to dig into that one. Actually, you know what? I am going to dig. Okay, there we go. And we'll do the same thing right over here. Now on the inside you can see here, but this entire thing is going to be covered. And there's not really much of a point to me making these slabs or not. Doesn't really matter because it's going to be covered anyway. But now that we have this, we can see, whoa, that's not the key I wanted to press. I'm struggling today. There we go. So now what we can do is create these different connections here and make sure that they actually work when they are stacked. So I would like to extend this out. And then what I think I'm going to do is have one there as well. So that I think works. Make sure there's no gaps. All right, I mean, that's not bad. When I do add maybe an upside down trapdoor on top of here, it is going to look a little bit weird around here, but whatever. Let's see if I can make this work. There, why is that not working? Hello. It should stack down. Am I doing the wrong? I am doing the wrong one. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit annoying how that's kind of hanging out there. Can I bring this in? No, it's gonna, okay. For some reason it makes that transparent if you delete that. So maybe I'm just gonna leave it like that. So that looks pretty good for this upper section. Just make sure I didn't mess anything up. We'll go inside and double check. It should be good. Obviously this is a little bit weird. Should I think I'm just gonna go like this. Nope, I broke it. Why did I break it? Can I fix it like that? There you go. Okay, so that, yeah, that's gonna be a little bit weird, but honestly, nobody's gonna know. Nobody's gonna see this. Okay, now I can finally move down to here and figure out what I want to do with that. I think probably something comparable. If I do that, and then, yeah, the window's gonna be a little bit weird. But maybe if I could click the right spots. There you go. Okay. That seems to work. Except I want to bring that up there. I don't know if I'm doing this correct. I have no idea. Oh. I had no idea that that did that. Is that why? Okay. Is that what that is? I don't know how to build in Minecraft. Okay, so from top to bottom, I do believe that should work now. Okay, cool. So now the moment of truth. Let's go ahead and stack it. See if it actually worked or not. Oh, not yet. Wait. There you go. And then this one should also extend that way, I believe. Extend that there. Still need to figure out this front. That should be good. Let's go right there. Okay, all right. That doesn't look too bad. I obviously forgot the back fence here, but it seems to be working. That's connected. That works in there. Nothing seems to be out of place. Up top, it looks fine. I'm going to add a little bit of variation up top so that it's not super recognizable. But hey, that doesn't look too bad so far. But let me undo. We'll keep working at it. Now, in a second here, we're going to go inside, figure out some floor plans, and also add some stairs, vertical circulation. But I want to talk to you about templates for just 1 second. So, if you want to have row house, if you want to have row home templates, good job, Matt, English, you essentially need 3 of them. So the first one is this one. The second one is this one. The third one will be one that we will put right here. The idea being the one on this side has a finished edge on that side. This one is a stackable template with no windows at all. And then the one over here will be comparable to this one, except it'll be flipped on that side. Except I don't want to actually flip the facade itself, just this last wall. So with that being said, let's go inside and figure out some floor plans for this 3 floors. I wish my coffee would kick in and then I could speak English. That would be great. Thank you. So usually what I like to do is inside of your front entrance, I like to leave probably at least 3 blocks. And then usually I will put a staircase that goes up like that. And we will open this up here. Make sure that's lined up with that. Looks good. There you go. So we'll do that. Keep it nice and simple for now. And we will do the same thing here. I think, oh, that's going to be a problem because that's there. Do I actually need to move it back? Let me think. Maybe what I'll do is I'm actually going to put it on this side instead. So I know it might be a little bit weird. You have to go in the front door and then come around back here. But let me experiment. So with this top one, I'm going to go here and then look up. So that will give you 1 block between that and that. I would like to have 2. So maybe I'm just going to shift this entire thing back by 1. Like that. And push it just like that. Open this up here. Again, making sure that is aligned. We can do this. Then we can open that up there. And bring it up to the top. So you get up here and then you have 2.5, actually close to 3 blocks. So I think this is a good amount of space. But obviously with smaller builds like this, it is a little bit tight trying to get these floor plans in. What I have done for this house and that one, if we go inside here real quick, we can see that I have used trapdoors for the walls, which is quite annoying and complicated, but it's really great in tight spaces. The only issue is in default vanilla textures, you are pretty limited to what you can do, and most of them are kind of see-through. So I don't know if we're going to be going for that in this build. I may just go with solid walls. And what I can actually do on the bottom of this... Actually, no, never mind. I don't want that. I will take some smooth quartz stairs. And I'll put this on the bottom just like that, and then just make sure I can actually walk through it. That's good. The amount of times that I see people make stairs, and then they will add stuff like this on the bottom, and they don't actually walk on their stairs to see if they'll actually fit or not, is astounding. So please make sure that you can actually walk through your stairs. Thank you. Now I could do something like that on the bottom here, but maybe I'll do this instead. And then I can have probably a little storage closet or something, maybe right in here. And I'm just going to use this yellow wool to mark it all out. Actually, I am going to experiment here a little bit because I really like the idea of maximizing the space here. I don't know what I'm doing there, but if I take this and we stack this up, just like that. Now we have quite a bit of room, actually, which isn't too bad. Could have a little storage area in here, but definitely creates some room. So obviously you can't really put anything up against here unless you blend it in with this wall, which I guess you could. But now you have a little bit extra space. So this is more for circulation. And then you can put stuff over here. Just trying to think of what's actually going to go where. So let's go outside and let's add some signs for what kind of rooms we actually need. Okay, so kitchen, you need bedrooms with a closet and maybe an ensuite, depending on how much space we have. Bathroom, dining room, living room, maybe an office. Put that as a question mark. And a little laundry room. So let's start with one of these. Actually, let's put the bedroom on the top floor. And then this is sort of your own private patio, which I think would be pretty nice. So maybe what I'm going to do is add something like this. Because I don't necessarily have to have a full wall that goes all the way up. I know this transition isn't exactly phenomenal. It's really not great. But this allows you to build right here. Maybe it's more of an open concept. I will add a little railing, just like that. It's pretty subtle, but does the job. And I will continue it that way. There you go. I really do not like that. That is quite annoying. I don't know what I'm doing. To be honest, might just have to live with it. Unless I put something on the top here, but then I'd have to change that. This is complicated. This is the sort of stuff that you have to deal with in Minecraft, but not in real life if you were to design this. But I think it's good for figuring out your spatial awareness and developing that. I think I'm going to continue the use of the bone block. I love those sounds. That's great. Now, obviously, I'm going to have to do something along here. I could do slabs, maybe lower the ceiling a little bit. But, I don't know. This could be a good place for a living room, to be honest. And then probably downstairs have, like, the kitchen and dining room. Maybe, and then, like, a little front office, maybe, up here. But now it's very dark in here, and I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know. Maybe this could be a little spot, like if you have guests over and, you know, you don't want them to see the rest of your house because, of course, you don't clean it. But you invite them in and you have just this front area and then maybe like one washroom hanging around here somewhere. Could do that. But obviously that would not work because right now it is office sized. So let me take that out and a bit like that. That's a little more room. Could use this as well. Maybe a little something like that. That could work. Maybe a little something like this. I know the materials are kind of odd, so this is kind of driving me nuts on the inside, but on the outside that does look pretty good, but that is kind of bothering me. What if I do that instead? Maybe? I don't know. All right, I think that's fine for now. Can have a couple little seats in there. But probably have a little dining room back here, nothing too big. And then probably the kitchen here. It's not going to be a giant kitchen, it might just be along one wall here. But maybe a little nook for the dining room table, nothing too big. And over here can probably be some storage, like a front hall closet or something. I don't know if it'll end up being a closet or not. Actually, it could be. Yeah, let's do that. There you go. So extend that out, and then I'll leave that there. I'm just sizing out the furniture with the cyan wool. But basically I can do that. Make sure that does not connect. Have a little something there. Maybe a little coffee table or something. That's okay, that works. And this is your storage closet, so maybe I'll come back to that. All right, that's not bad. So let's go up to the second floor. So we have the kitchen, dining room. This is probably going to be the living room over here. What I might end up doing is putting like a big couch over here, maybe. Got something in the corner there. Then maybe a little TV stand or something over here, perhaps. Then more than likely in the corner, I'll probably have a little plant or something, just because, you know, you have the plant here, give it lots of sunlight. This is south facing, so you're going to get a lot of sunlight in here, which is fantastic. But we'll do that. Have maybe a little TV. And, okay, that's pretty good. Oh, I need a washroom. Where am I going to put a washroom? Could I convert this into a tiny little washroom? A little Harry Potter closet washroom, maybe? I could do that. Let's do that instead. So, washroom, not a storage closet. So, maybe put a little toilet, one of these, maybe? I don't know. I'm going to leave that. I really should just be putting signs, so let me do that instead. And I think I might actually... This is extremely narrow, but... Whatever, this is a small house, so I think I'm just going to go for it. But I think I kind of want to have a bedroom right here. I think I'm going to put the door there. Either that or maybe there. And I'm not going to be able to build against this right here. But I do like this, which is kind of nice. Another option is I flip this and have a bedroom over here and the living room over here. But the issue is with the size of this couch, I don't think this is going to be an ideal space for it. So I think I'm going to keep going, have the bedroom over here. Maybe I'll size it out like this. Probably back here. Actually, you know what? Nope. I am going to make this smaller. There you go. Okay, so this is about bedroom sized. When you're back here, you don't get as much sunlight, obviously, but I think it's okay. And then maybe in here we can have a little closet or something. Can I even... I can do something. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Little closet, or maybe this is another bathroom. That might be the move, actually. I'll put it as a question mark because at least one of these bathrooms has to have a shower. That's probably not enough space for a shower. So, actually, hold on. Wait. Idea. There you go. Let's add an extra 3 square meters. There you go. That should be okay. Now, for this one, I think... Sometimes? I do think sometimes. Okay, put a bed right there. There's not much of a closet, but I'm sure you could figure out some storage system. Maybe it's over here. I'm not sure. But that'll be the bed. Get the bathroom. There you go. Nice view out there, at least for now. Beautiful mountains of North Vancouver, British Columbia, and West Vancouver, British Columbia, which are both not a part of Vancouver, British Columbia, but you get the picture. Nice little spot out here so that if you're hanging out with some friends in the living room, maybe you're playing some Mario Kart on the Wii, and you're like, I want some fresh air, you can walk back here, out here, and then maybe I'll put some chairs or something afterwards. I'm not sure, but I'm going to keep this one down just to keep it a little bit open. And if I could remember how to use Axiom, I will take this, 1, 2, 3, confirm, that one, 1, 2, 3, confirm. There you go. 1, 2, 3. And just like that, there you go. Okay, not too bad. To cover this up, I think I'm just going to go with a pale oak slab so that it matches the white color theme that we have going on, or millennial gray, or whatever you want to call it. But it brings it down a little bit, and I don't want it to be like a stone or anything, because this is a living room. It's supposed to be nice and comfortable, so I like the wood feel. Okay. So that is 1 and 2. Let's go up to 3 and figure this out. Now, if this is the master bedroom, let me think. Can I add an ensuite back here maybe? That is quite small. Let me think again. If I add that one, I should be able to move this just by 1. And there you go. All of a sudden, you have a little bit more space. Then I can extend that out just like that. All right, then take that. 1, 2, 3. Confirm. And there you go. Now you have enough room for a toilet, a sink, and a shower. All with an incredible view. Until this gets moved into place and then the other stuff is added. But enjoy it while you can. For now, I am gonna bring this down. That's really not a great material. I wish that Mojang, and I've been wishing for this since the start of this entire game, that if you take one slab and then another type of slab on the underside of this, why can I not just make it connect? Come on, please. But it's fine. It's fine. I didn't want to do that anyway. Let's put the bed right there so you create some separation. You have a little nook over here, so you can either have like a desk or something. Get it. How do I get? There you go. All right, bed, desk, and bathroom. Okay, that's not too bad. I want to keep this pretty open because, I mean, this is south facing. I love this light. This is fantastic. Starting to get a little hazy out. That's all right. Oh no, where'd my mountains go? They're hiding. There's one way back there. Look at that. Hello, mountain. But we'll put it back to 10 a.m. because that's when I always build that. So in terms of the floor plan, layout, stairs, placement of furniture, I think it's okay right now. I'd like to figure this out because I don't really like staring at that. Kind of feels like I'm in a dungeon. But yeah, that's okay. It works. Circulation is good. Always make sure to walk through your houses and all of your buildings to make sure that you can actually walk around. That is important. But I think we got everything on the list. Let's go back out and check. Kitchen, yes. We have the 2 bedrooms, actually. I thought we were only going to be able to fit 1. Let's get that out of there. Bathroom, we have 3 of those. Well, 2 full ones and 1 half bath, so 2.5. Dining, living. The office is just going to be a little desk in the master bedroom. And laundry. Oh yeah, we need laundry too. Where are we going to put that? Can we put it down here? Maybe this is the laundry room, actually. Maybe. Actually, it's kind of nice to have a sink here. You know what? Let's do a sink and then a washer and a dryer. And instead of having a toilet, we'll just keep the toilets up here instead. I just noticed on the back here that I don't actually have any dividers. I don't know what I want for that. Up here, obviously I have glass, which does work. Up here is also glass. But I think I want a little bit more privacy. You know what? For now, I'm just going to mark it out with some lime green wool. We will do that. Make sure that doesn't connect. Get out of here. Okay, there you go. We'll leave it be for now. I could go greenery. It's not a bad option. But yeah, okay. We'll come back to that. I'm also not entirely sold on that, the regular trapdoors. I don't know, work in progress. Okay, I think it is time to furnish the interior, something which I have not done on this channel in a very long time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of my exterior color palette, and I am going to make one for the interior. To play it safe, I think I'm gonna go with pale oak. And you can see I just hopped inside here, but we'll start with that because I don't wanna do anything that's gonna throw it off too much, especially because it's mostly a white or off-white, and then you have this sort of bluish green. And then down here, of course, you have the birch, which has some yellow tones. So I think I'm gonna play it safe. Okay, here's how to build a very easy couch in Minecraft. Step 1, replace the back with stairs like that. Step 2, go like this. You can have a little place to rest your feet, just like that. And then if you want, you can go like this. And if you really want, you can go like that. There you go. If you wanted to, you could also chop this off. Cut that out too. But I don't know, it feels a lot more comfortable when you have 1, 2.5 blocks. For the TV, I think I'm gonna use Blackstone. And then if I connect it like this, hold on, never mind. I might go with something like this. Dark oak trap door. Let's go with a 2:3 aspect ratio. I know it is off center, so maybe we'll get rid of that. Probably put a plant over here, as I was mentioning before. Maybe another plant over here. But probably going to want maybe just another little seat there. Actually, I have a better design. Never mind, my other design will not work. All right, this is a chair. That works. I would like to put something here. That's not what I want. That does not work either. How do I play Minecraft? What if I... Here you go. It's kind of cute. That works. I feel like I can actually extend this down a little bit. Maybe we could put some bookshelves. Could do this. And I really like these because basically you can choose which colors you want just to match your surroundings. So I don't think the pink or the purple fits. So maybe we'll do that. And now that's the same pattern. So now I'm going to take some of them out. Actually, let me decide the material of this first. Maybe we'll just put the bookshelves like that, but backwards. That works. Okay, so color-wise, I don't want to... Like, there's already a lot of blue here. Then you get the blue here. So I don't know how much blue I actually want. So let me take out a few of those. Maybe take out that one there. What's that one? That one's pink. That's blue. Okay, we can keep a couple like that. Now, let's do that. That looks okay. And maybe we'll take some signs, place them like that. All right, there you go. I actually kind of want to compress this couch just a touch, and then maybe back here we'll put a plant or maybe a lamp. I don't know how I feel about that. Oh, this is probably going to look stupid. But if I take that... I know it matches with the blue. I don't know. What if I do that? I know it doesn't actually emit light. Oh, there you go. Now, we got a little bit of light out of that. There you go. And what I love to do in my living room, we will take some carpet, except I don't want it to do that. And then, hold on, if I get rid of that, make sure that doesn't climb up the side. There you go. That works. It's kind of cozy. Not too bad. Then maybe back here I'll put a little something. I am going to change that there, and I'm probably going to do same thing over there. All right, now on top of here I can do that, and I have a couple different options, but using a bit of color theory. So you have this kind of greenish blue, so I want to go for maybe an orange. That's kind of clean. I don't know how I feel about a torch flower. That's too much. All right, let's go with the tulip. Use a couple light blocks just along there. There you go. Light it up a little bit. That is not too bad. Okay, that works. On to the next room. Let's do this bathroom here real quick. Going to take some cyan wool. Can I build up there? I can. I cannot build there. Okay, so I'd like, if I can, for this to be a full bath. That might be a little tricky. Can I move that? Also, I just found a beehive, so I'm going to do that instead. That looks pretty cool. Hopefully there's no bees that spawn. All right, we'll do a little something like that. You have your toilet with a pressure plate, toilet paper, a sink, a mirror, and a little faucet. And can I place... Nope. All right, I guess no flower pot for you. On to the bedroom. Here you go, some snow, and then some copper right there. Nice little bed. What else do we need? Nightstand? Nope, no nightstand for you, but I will give you some carpet at the end of your bed as one of these two. Is that going to grow? Yeah, I don't like that. Get out of here. So we'll do that. And over here, maybe we can have a little desk. A little something like that. Just change up the color with some yellow. I think that works quite well with these other colors. And there you go. Not bad. And I'm going to put some very light. That did not work at all. What about 10? There you go. Tiny little bit of light. I'm going to leave out here. I'm not going to touch the outside. That looks okay. All right, second floor is complete. Let's go up to the third, and then we have to go back down to the first and finish that up too. Okay, same picture. Now that I see that texture, I don't know how I feel about that as a quilt. You know what? That's fine. That's all right. It kind of looks like plaid a little bit with some green spots. I don't know. Maybe it's Christmas, even though there's no snow and it's clearly summer. But whatever. Never mind. Doesn't matter. I'm going to run back downstairs and grab this one. We will run back up here because I would like to have some nightstands. And as a little tabletop night design, I'm going to do this. Add that one there. And that one there. So there you go. It emits light. These particles kind of drive me nuts, but I don't care for turning them off, so too bad. Just like the floor below, I think I'm going to do this because I really don't want to stare at that because it kind of makes me feel like I'm in a dungeon. I also changed the material here and here. I I may find another one for that. But I really love having wood overhead, especially in residential areas where it's supposed to feel kind of cozy. Like this is a bedroom. You don't want to be staring at anything except for this. Maybe I could actually do something like that. That kind of lightens it up a little bit. And then using the power of Axiom, I can basically just turn these into stairs. There you go. That looks okay. Add a little desk here. Chair. Not sure what I'm going to put over here. Maybe some plants or something. Keep it nice and simple. And add a little monitor. Desktop computer. Pretty good. I am a little bit concerned that there's not really much of a headboard here. So what if I do some experimenting with that? Maybe something like this, and then if I bring this down to connect it, then honestly I could kind of make this into crown molding almost. That's not what I want. But if I do this, here you go. It's pretty good. Not too bad. And then over here, it looks like that. Might actually bring this down. Just like that. There you go. I think that looks pretty good. This kind of blocks that. Maybe I'll flip this. There you go. Okay, problem solved. That seems to work. Add a little plant up at the top here. So I pushed that slightly that way. And just bear with me for a second. I'm going to use the top half of the door to create a shower. There you go. So I guess I probably could use iron trapdoors. Let's do that instead. I think that looks cleaner. Yeah, okay, that definitely looks better. So let's go with that. And up top, I need a shower head. How am I going to do that? Might just go for this classic design. Then add a little something like that, actually. If we put it this way. There you go. That is pretty good. And for the toilets, we'll have it this way, facing there. Otherwise, you're going to be staring at yourself in the mirror, which I would prefer not to do. And out here, we can have a little bath mat. Just kidding. Because I have that there. Can I flip that? No, I cannot. I'm also unable to change this material because it is the floor right below it as well. Unless I put something upside down there, which I don't really want to. All right, that's fine. That works. And something there. Can I get rid of this, maybe? There you go. A little something like that. Okay, so third floor is done. Second floor is done. Now let's go down to the first floor. So we still have the dining room, the kitchen, the visiting room. I don't know if that's an official name. The front hall closet, and then the laundry and sink. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, did a little bit of building. So basically this, I just took a bed and then put a sign on the back of it. This is the same design as upstairs. This is half of a bed, and you can see that there is a slight difference in height because this is carpet, and then this is a full block that I just put underneath, and I can do that because I am on the bottom floor, so that works. I may also put that right there, and then maybe another one just like that under there. There you go. That looks a little bit better. Still have that same light design, but brought the ceiling down a little bit and then changed this to diorite. And just to be fancy, I'm going to add levers so that it kind of looks like supports going there. And then the same thing, just like that. All right, not bad. Also, since I am on the ground floor, I am going to switch up the material because I kind of want to do something like this. We'll start with this, just kind of a checkered pattern. Maybe that's more of something for the kitchen. We'll be right back. I may test out some of these, change the kitchen to that. But, okay, this is option 1. This is option 2. This is option 3. That's not bad. This is option 4. I don't like the yellow on that. And this is option 5, which is definitely a lot more subtle. But now it feels like there's a lot of textures going on because this is textured, That's textured, and this is textured. Do I just keep it clean? I have an idea. What about that? I know it's like it is a tile, but if you're walking in here, you might have, you know, rain all over yourself and mud on your boots, depending on what you're doing. That could work, maybe. I could extend this out maybe down here. No, I kind of want to keep that like that. Extend that there. Yeah, let's go with this. Actually, I don't know. I really don't know. Do I just go with birch wood again or birch planks? Let me try that. All right, that's nice and clean. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with this. I'm also gonna do the same thing there. There you go. Just for a little bit of continuity. And I will do this here as well. There you go, nice and clean. Might just add some hooks like that so you can hang your jacket. And then if you want to bring this up and then you want to store something on it, you can do that as well. Now I guess the question back here is, what do I actually want to do with this? Do I even want a closet back there? I don't know. What if I just did something like that? And maybe had that. That works. And of course, you gotta have a little fern. I love my ferns in my flower pots. It's great. I love it. I will do a little bit of magic right here. Add some light. There you go. Now you can see something, which is pretty good and also important. Okay. So I think that looks okay without going too crazy with it. This kind of conflicts with that because this is a random pattern and that one's more just flat. So what if, just theoretically, I did that? Yeah, I like that. I like that because this texture is pretty noisy. It's busy. There's a lot going on. So I think simplicity is the key. Sorry, I thought there was a person for a second. All right. Yep, that works. Okay, so let's move on to this right here. So this is a laundry room with a sink. Actually, I don't know if I'm... No, yeah, I can fit it. I can fit it. So let's do that. So that there. This is your faucet. You don't actually need a mirror in here. And then over here you have a washer and dryer. I'm not actually sure how to detail this. I could put an item frame and then it would look like that, but I'm trying to avoid entities as much as I possibly can because this is a pretty big city and I'd like for you to be able to explore it. If I just do like an iron trap door, and with Axiom you can open and close them, which is pretty fun. All right. Yeah, that works. That's fine. Now let's go ahead and figure out this kitchen. It's going to be pretty small. Okay, there we go. Wait, need some light. Okay, I added some artificial light blocks right about there, but here's the kitchen. So you walk in either from there or from here. And don't mind that the wood doesn't match, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. So you have a button, which can be interpreted as anything. You have a blast furnace with a pressure plate on top. More counter space. You do not want to have your oven directly beside your fridge because, you know, if you're cooking with oil, it's going to splatter all over the place. So ideally, if you can kind of push it out a little bit, keep it separate from any sort of vertical elements like that, with the exception of this backsplash, that would be appreciated. You have a sink over here and a couple little cabinets up top. This is a lectern that is backwards. And I also added a wall up top just for the ventilation. And for the dining room, I'm using some Axiom magic to make this stand up straight. There you go, little dining table, a couple of chairs. Maybe I will turn one of the chairs this way, just because, I don't know, maybe somebody got up to go do something in the kitchen. But yeah, this is a little breakfast nook here too. Or if you want to sit down or, you know, put your laptop on here while you're cooking something, you can watch something on TV. That works. Maybe back here, let's add some plants. Maybe just a brick wall. And add a tiny little fern on top of there. Now, what do we do up here? I want to have a light. There you go. I just put an end rod face down and then a button on the end. I really love how they're flush like that. They're both 4 pixels across. That is very fantastic. Thank you, Mojang. Appreciate that. Now, before this exit right here, I want to go back here, grab that, and then maybe one of those as well. Stick that right there, and there you go. Not too bad. Okay, so that is the interior. Now it is time to figure out what I actually want to do here along here, back here. And then I don't know if I don't really want to build an entirely new one, so maybe I can see if I can copy it. Actually, first of all, let's copy this interior into this one as well. So I believe that should be right. Confirm, finish. Does that work? It should work. Let me just do a quick walkthrough to make sure everything works. Seems to be okay. Obviously, you have a little bit more space with half a block there, and that is okay. That was planned. That's not supposed to be like that. I keep forgetting that it does not include the air, although I think there's a way to change that. This looks fine. That looks okay. What about in here? That looks good. That looks decent. I could actually add some windows like that since we are on the end. So I'll do that. Maybe I will add some here as well. There you go. All right. Oh. Bring that down. That looks good. Okay, not too bad. And yeah, look at that. Haha, it actually ended up working out perfectly. Very nice. Let's take a look at it from here. Yeah, all right. I'm glad I went through the trouble of making the interior because, I mean, now the build's way better. Okay, let's work on this area out here. What I am thinking of doing is extending that one, and then I am going to copy that and make it slightly larger because I would not mind having a couple seats out here. So I might work some magic here. And I'm going to do something like this. So if I take these stairs, go like this, fix that up. Now I have a little place to sit that also doubles as a wall. So it looks solid from here, but you come in here, and then all of a sudden, you can have a seat. Maybe have a cup of coffee in the morning, get some of that sunlight. And I'm definitely going to put some greenery that blocks a little bit of this view. Not blocks the view, but, you know, gives a little bit of privacy. To texture this grass, which I have done out front, I am using a combination of grass blocks and moss blocks. And then on top, I'm just adding some wheat seeds that are just barely visible. I don't know. I kind of like it. Probably just start by doing something like this. Then afterwards, we will go back. Maybe add some stuff on top like this. I know you can't do this without a debug stick or without Axiom, but I'm going to use my tools to my advantage. And I don't want to go crazy hyper detailed with this, so I think I'm just going to leave this as a grass strip. I might add something else along here, but we'll leave that for later. I also don't want to actually decorate anything up here because it's going to be stacked, and if it's identical on every single one, you probably don't want that. So I'm going to leave that empty with the exception of this built stuff here. And we can probably do the same thing on the back. So I think I'm just going to go with something like this, just an andesite wall all the way across. And we'll leave the oak trapdoors for now. So now what we can do is we can get rid of this. And with a bit of Axiom magic, we can flip and see if we can actually get this in place. Is that going to be enough? Nope, that is not. So maybe these ones here, since this is going to be a laneway, I might have to shorten these, and then maybe these ones will just sell for less than these ones, because this is going to be on a nice street. Even though laneways really aren't that bad. I walk through laneways all the time in Vancouver. So maybe what I'll do, basically spacing it so you have enough room here. I know you're probably going to be looking into your neighbor's place. I feel like this is too close. This is okay. That's preferable. But if we do that, let's see how that sizes out here. We can do that, and you can keep your entire area here. You know what? Let's do that. Let's do that. And then basically we'll just take part of this out instead, so that it looks a little something like that. That works. Okay. As long as there's not like a crazy amount of garbage in here, I think you'll probably spend some time here. But for now, it has a nice view. Alternatively, I might have a better idea. What if we take this, move that there, and all of a sudden, look at this, you have a little bit of space here, and then you can pretty much just do the same thing that we were doing out front. Okay, that looks pretty decent. I can live with that. Again, we will leave these blank. But, yeah, I think that works. Maybe here, do a little something like that. Okay, not bad. We're making progress. So originally, there was supposed to be a path through here. And this one was obviously supposed to be a smaller version of this. But since I don't feel like making an entirely new one, I think I'm basically just going to make these backyards instead. So we'll start by connecting these. Little something like that. I'm going to leave this material on the outside. I would like this to be a wall, but it does kind of feel like a prison, and I don't really like that. So maybe I will leave it up to the homeowner to change this if they want. I don't know. Oh, another option. Hey, this actually might be a better solution. What if we took all of these walls out? Haha, take that, Gorbachev. Bring this down. And what we could do is this could be a nice little community space for everybody that lives in any one of these townhouses. So in that case, I'm probably going to add a little stair. That's not a stair. That is now a stair. There you go. Okay. Something like that. And bring this out just like that. And I'm probably going to figure out how to landscape this. Don't exactly know how yet, but I'll figure it out. Now, if you look around, this is made of wool. The sidewalk is not going to stay that material. That's just for planning purposes. I don't know what material it's going to be yet. I have to figure that out, but I promise it will not look like this. But I guess before I landscape any of this, I think we are pretty much ready to stack this down. So I'll clear out this space, and in real life, they have it in blocks of 4. So I'm going to take this and I'm basically just going to stack it down that way. And then we have to figure out this side, but on the other side. So if we do that, click confirm, that should work. And that'll give us a blank wall on this side. However, if we take this and then we flip it, I believe. Did I do that right? I don't know. Yep, there we go. And bring that right there. Confirm. Finish. Haha. Check that out. That is not too bad. Just want to make sure that I did that correctly. Look at that. Nice big open space here. At least it feels that way. Man, those windows really make a difference. You might feel a little claustrophobic in here. But honestly, could be worse. And then for some true randomness patterns, I am just going to fill this in by hand. Okay, done. Doesn't look too bad. All right, now the next step, I am going to create a path through the middle. I'm going to make it look nice. And then we are going to duplicate this over here, and then we are going to change some of these colors here. Okay, there you go, little pattern. So you have some cobblestone and then some dead bubble coral block right in the middle there. We'll go over here. There you go. So there's number 2. I've also added a touch of randomness to this rooftop. So all of those ones, I'm just going to change it up slightly. Maybe move some buttons around. Nothing too crazy. But just enough so that if you're flying above, you think, oh, it's different than the other one. So maybe I'll do that. And yeah, I think that looks okay. Take that one. Maybe I'll put that one back there. Okay, there you go. Pretty good. So in real life, this takes up pretty much an entire city block. So I could copy and paste it, change some of the orientations, change some of the materials. I don't know how to do that quickly yet because of these walls and the properties and, all the directions that they're facing. So I think I'm going to leave that for now, but I am going to use the edge of this property right here. And I'm basically making the assumption that I'm taking up to here and then we're going to have more houses here. So I'm probably going to add a line of trees all the way along here. So let's do that. And while we're at it, I'm going to clean up in here, might add a little design, maybe some greenery right in here as well. So I'm going to do a little bit of building off camera and we'll be right back. This is a brief intermission while we go outside and see, well, the actual building. And here we go. It's gonna look a little something like this. Not too bad. See, you have some orange ones there too. And then the blue ones. There it is. Okay, that is all. Back to Minecraft. Hello, it is a couple days later. I have not actually finished this section here, and the reason is I would like to figure out the terrain of the city on this half before I actually do that, because I don't know how this complex is going to interact with it. I don't know if it's going to slope from here down to here or from here down to here. I have no idea, and I would like to figure that out first so I can paste these in and then figure it out. If you'd like to learn more about how to design a city, I have lots of great videos on my channel, and I also have a course called City Design 101 that is currently a work in progress, where you will get access to all of the different studies where we plan everything, all of the different documents that I use for Sequoia, and maybe even some other stuff in there too. There's lots of good stuff. But if you'd like to check it out now, it is the cheapest it will ever be. The price will only go up from here, so make sure to go check that out on alpine1.co. City Design 101, it's under Learn Something New. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, click like. If you really like it, click subscribe. My name's Matt. You're watching Alpine.